What's happening, racing fans? Welcome back to the channel, brought to you in association with betting.co.uk. I'm your host, Ginger Joe, and I'm back with another anti-post compilation video for you, all in preparation for the 2023 Cheltenham Festival. Now, less than 8 weeks to go until the spectacle come March. Let me tell you, the town is now ready to go. All of the bookmaker signage is out, and they've got all of the extra tents up at the racecourse. So all we've got to do now is get the Cheltenham Festival underway. But with 8 weeks still to go, this does still give us some opportunity to get some valuable anti-post selections down into the books. And with such a successful part one, I have managed to gather your favourite tipsters and pundits, plus some extras for part two, to bring you some more selections for the spectacle come March. And if you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to my channel on my mission to 1,000. And by subscribing to my channel, you do get free entry into my monthly prize draws where I give away 3 £10 bets and 1 racehorse share. And I announce the winners over on Twitter and on my free Discord group chat, which will be, and there will be a link in the description below. Now, before I go any further, thank you to everybody that's tuning in. Thank you to everybody that subscribed, and a big thank you to everybody who's got involved in this video. It's been a massive success by my standards, and I do really appreciate everyone getting involved. But I'll kick us off with the first selection for part two, and mine's actually going to come in the Champion Bumper, which is a market that hasn't necessarily opened up just yet. A lot of these odds-on favourites have been turned over and expecting to come on for the second run, but the one I fancy the most and the one that has impressed me the most up to this point is Facile Mode at 12 to 1 for Tom Mullins. And I'm not sure how much longer he's going to be with Tom Mullins, because I'm pretty sure between now and the Dublin Racing Festival, this boy will be snapped up by a bigger owner and probably sent to his brother Willie for a campaign at the Champion Bumper. Now, I love the walk in the park progeny, and I think this is one that's gone away. He actually he opened up at 80 to 1 when he ran at Leopardstown. He ended up going off as short as 16 to 1, and he was well in command come the line. I actually think he won a little bit cosily as well. Now, he beat some experienced horses who were well fancied from the top yards with already aspirations of going to the Cheltenham Bumper, but he came from the back of the field, eased through the pack, picked them off one by one, and looked like he had a little bit left over come the finish line. He's quite a big horse. He looks like he could actually be a little bit ahead of schedule, and for him to come out and be so dominant against the experienced Willie Mullins horses after just one run makes me think he's going to come on again at the Cheltenham Festival, and I think the 12 to 1 screams a big each way price. So for my first selection, it's going to be Facile Mode for Tom Mullins at 12 to 1 in the Champion Bumper.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to part two of the countdown to Cheltenham. In the first video, I tipped up Fake Doudourie at 12 to 1. That bet still looks very solid with the whereabouts of Allaho being unknown, and hopefully I can find another nice bit of value in the stays held on. And I think Paisley Park at 12 to 1 is definitely overpriced. He's been there and got the t-shirt. He's won this race before, and in the last few years he's finished third twice in this race. He's only been beaten a couple of lengths, and I feel like he's a little bit of a rejuvenated horse this season. Maybe he lost his way in years gone by, but I think he may be back to his best this season. It was a very good reappearance when just being touched off at Champion, and he showed he definitely improved second time out at Kempton, where at a track that wouldn't suit, he ran very well when winning. The turbo boost was there. We haven't seen that in quite a while, but after the flat spot he found under Aidan Coleman. I expect him to do the same up the Cheltenham Festival Hill, and I think Flooring Porter, he hasn't really kicked on this season. He's been a little bit underwhelming. Classical Dream is a non-stayer. Home by the Lee is probably the new kid on the block that deserves a lot of respect, but I think Paisley Park at 12 to 1 is definitely the value in the stays hurdle. So it's Paisley Park at 12 to 1 for me.
Oi, Joe, great work with the video last week, getting so many people in one room or one video to share their thoughts for Cheltenham Festival. Of course, it's a game of opinions, but it's just nice to bounce off each other and see where everyone else's heads are at. There's only one bet that I could possibly put up at this moment that I would think is a bit of a value and obvious short. Now, that is Blazing Carl for the Brown Advisory. No, I'm joking. It's Classical Dream for the Stairs Hurdle. He's 7 to 1, non-runner money back. So if he doesn't turn up at the festival, you get your stake back. He's going to run at the festival bar some sort of incident or injury, but I can only see his price contracting. I think he probably goes for about half the price, maybe 4 to 1 top price, I'd say. I think he's got a proper chance, but regardless of whether you do think he's got a chance or not, if your portfolio betting, you're trying to get a few in there, if you haven't already, get Classical Dream on your team sheet. Be lucky if you follow me in. Please always gamble responsibly, and hopefully I'll see you guys again soon.
Good afternoon. This is Johnny Dineen here from up in the Ante. and I got a call from Ginger Joe to hopefully come up with a winner for Cheltenham. So here's my go anyway. I didn't want to pick up anything too short, so I had to go look down through the race, and there isn't a lot of value. But look, I found, I think, what I might be a good selection in the Paddy Power Stairs hurdle. I'm going to go with Home by the Lee. I know he's 6-1, in around 6-1 favourite with Flooring Porter, and there's a few other ones in the bet. Their Classical Dream, T Hoopo. I think, like most people, I may have underestimated Home by the Lee. I think, generally speaking, everyone thought that beating Bob Ollinger in Navan was probably a fluke, and his big price in that race probably suggested it was. But then to win at Christmas in Leopardstown, and the way he travelled, much differently from the way he travelled in Navan, he's a horse going forward, and he's going forward fast, and he's a horse that was a good chasing horse too, but he couldn't really jump the fences. But he's back over hurdles now, and he seems to be on an upward curve, and a big upward curve. And it's a race that's there's a share of dead wood in this race, and like bar Flooring Portrait, but he's going for 3 in a row. He never struck me as being a brilliant staying 3-miler. He's a good horse, obviously, but I think 3 in a row will probably be just that's one bridge too far for him. And Classical Dream is a horse with a load of issues, is rising, whatever, he's in double figures age-wise. T Hoopo would probably need softer ground, and then all of a sudden, like Blazing Cattle hardly turn up now when they're saying 50-50 this time, and you're into Paisley Parks and that, and I don't think that the standard is anywhere near insurmountable. And for me, Home by the Lead 6-1 is a cracking bet, and if he reproduces his run at Leopardstown, that would be sufficient. I'll go for him anyway. He'll do for me. All the best, and thanks again to Ginger Joe for asking me to come on. All the best. Bye-bye.
Hi Joe, hi guys, thanks for asking me back again. It's Scotty here. So my second selection anti-post is going to be in the Cheltenham Gold Cup itself, and it's a horse who won the National Hunt Chase last year, and it's Statler, trained by Willie Mullins. I think he's about 10-1 at the moment, and this is coming on Saturday, the day after the news that L'Homme Pressé has unfortunately been ruled out of the Gold Cup by connections by Venetia. So I just think the run on New Year's Day at Tremor, it was one of those ones where you can blame the jockey, but at the same time you can say Tremor is one of the courses, especially in Ireland, where the ground's always a bit on the testing side that time of year. A horse that won National Hunt Chase should be really making the running. I know Manila Rendo's a former Gold Cup winner, he's a class horse in his own right, but happy enough with that run. I just think it's the way album photos normally go on. I think Willie knows what he's doing with the horse. I think he'll beat Protectorat, who's obviously probably the form horse in England this year, away from Brave Man's Game. But I don't like Brave Man's Game at Cheltenham. I don't think Protectorat's a Cheltenham horse really himself. I know he ran a good race in the Gold Cup last year, but this is a better renewal this year. Al Plutard, question marks over him. Not being entered in the Irish Gold Cup is all well with him. I think the only horse that really scares me in the race is the favourite, Galopin Des Champs, and he's got question marks over whether he'll stay the trip as well. That's just my opinion, of course. He'll probably go and hack up in the Irish Gold Cup and go 10 to 11 even money favourite for the race. But for me, Statler at 10-1 is definitely a play. He's going to be there, bang there at the end. I think he'll be hunted away through the race, and I think he jumps very well. He obviously stays. Definitely a horse that you could be looking at a Grand National this time next year. But for me, it's between 3 horses, and Statler at the value at 10-1. Noble Yates will give a massive shout to, and obviously Galopin Des Champs. But my pick for the Gold Cup at 10-1 is Statler.
Hello everyone, Ian Rayner here from the Cheltenham Exchange. Thank you again to Ginger Joe for inviting me onto episode 2 of your Anti-Post series. My pick is going to be in the Stayers Hurdle, maybe with my heart, but I'm going with Paisley Park. Currently 14-1 anti-post and 12-1 no runner, no bet. So his form has surprised me this season, bearing in mind he's 11 years old. He was second, beaten the neck by Champ in the long distance, and then went on to win the long walk a few weeks ago. What you need to consider as well, so he won the Stayers in 2019, was third in 2021, and third again last year, 2022. And with the current market as it is, Home by the Lee does deserve to be the favourite. He is currently 6-1. Florian Porter has only won twice since 2020. Funny enough, both of them at the festival. You've got Classical Dream that's been beaten. He may go fresh by the sounds of it. That's the news that's come out from Willie Mullins today. And you've easily got Blazing Carroll, who I do like, but he's a shorter price and it's still not run yet. So you need to factor in those things. As I say, 12 to 1, I think, no one and no bet each way is a cracking price. So let's go for it. Thanks very much.
Hey Joe, the horse I'm going to give you is Free Card Brad for the Albert Bartlett. I know there's a bit of chat that this horse might go for the Martin Pipe, but I can't see that myself. The owners have an association with Adrian Heskin. He can't ride in that race, but he can ride in the Albert Bartlett. It looks like he's crying out for a step up in trip, this lad. He's put a couple of lovely runs together. It's a wide open race this year, and I think he's still a really big price to go and win it. He's my selection. He's probably my best bet at the minute for the Cheltenham Festival.
Hi guys, hope you're all keeping well. I've got my second selection for this little series we're doing. Scarlet and Dove, obviously, from the Mayor's Chase was week 1, and week 2 here I quite like Xander Clegane for the Albert Bartlett Novices Hurdle. Look, there's not that many horses at the moment that I must say I'm overly keen on anti-post, but I do think Xander Clegane still has a little bit of value in that price of 14 to 1 that you can still acquire. He's obviously a pretty good horse. He was a very good bumper horse last year. He was in with the likes of Faisal Vega, American Mike, those types of horses. And then has obviously shown improvement for going up in trip. We know this is his target. He's been entered in the Nathaniel Lacey race at the Dublin Racing Festival, which will be his next target. And that will probably tell us where we're going to be with our slip. But I'm hoping that he'll be in the first 3 of that race at minimum. And if he is, he'll still have a live chance in the Albert Bartlett for an owner that really wants Cheltenham Festival runners and winners and a trainer that can ready them.
Hi all from Harps Bar. I'm back on it. Oh, lovely bit of Merlot that. After the illness and 9 bottles of cough medicine and 2 antibiotics, back on the red stuff. It's all good. Thanks for Ginger Joe for the shout out to put something up. All my wins are put towards my charity Mental Health UK, so it's all good. As I say, and I've had a look through the handicaps, and the one I'm going to put up is Dixon Cope for the Boodles. He comes second to Comfort Zone, who I think's a decent horse. And remarkably, after that race, the handicap had dropped him £5. It was in that Chepstow race, you know, the finale at Chepstow. So look, I think he's well handicapped, and he's got experience in France. He's run 3 times. So it's 16 to 1. That's the little play for Harp. Till next time, guys. Peace out.
Hi Joe, thank you for inviting me back again for this second episode of the Anti-Post series. Obviously my first pick was a short price winning Mighty Potter in the Turners, but this time I'm going to go slightly more obscure and one in a handicap, and that is Colonel Mustard in the Grand Annual, at currently priced at 20 to 1 with Sky Bet and Unibet. The reason I'm going for this, I think he's had 2 runs now of offences, firstly behind Hollow Games, and secondly behind Al Fabiolo. Both times not really put in the race, I would say. I think he was running more for placings and getting sort of a prep over fences, bit of practice. But he's got, so more going to be aimed at a handicap than the novice route, the novice beginner's route. That sort of thing. And obviously he has the Cheltenham form from last season, finishing 3rd in the county hurdle behind Stateman, no other, who is now second favourite for the champion hurdle, and rightly so. And First Street was obviously second in that race, and he's come out and won at Newbury, following up then finishing a good second at Cheltenham over the new year. So I think Colonel Mustard has decent form in the book, and I think when he goes back to Cheltenham, I think it will be in the Grand Annual in the hand of a handicap, and I think definitely has a chance of running into the frame at a price of 20 to 1. So that is my second pick for this.
Hello again, it's John here from the Cheltenham Exchange with another anti-post selection for the Ginger Joe Racing Show. This time I've shied away from the Grade 1 races, and my selection is for one of the handicap hurdles. Obviously it's a bit of a risk picking one of these so early out, but my pick this time is Common Practice for the Boodles Juvenile Handicap Hurdle. Although he was well beaten by the very impressive Blood Destiny at Fairy House last Saturday, I think he was given a fairly quiet ride by Luke Dempsey. Back in December he was also well beaten by current Triumph favourite Lossiemouth, but that was a good enough run to make me interested for this race. My only concern is that Connections have the top two in the Boodles market at the moment with Takao and Comfort Zone. So maybe the best play is the 14-1 non-runner no bet with Hills. He's 25-1 with Bet365 with a cash out option. Once again, thanks for Joe for having me on his show, and good luck with your anti-post punting.
Hi viewers, Bo here from the Rein It In podcast. I'm here to give you a second anti-post selection. Mine comes in the Albert Bartlett. He's 14-1 and his name is 3-Card Brag. This is a horse I've been really impressed with this season. Kind of looks to me like he's been running over a trip too short. The first day he beat a decent horse in Sandor Clegane, who's actually ahead of him in the market for the Albert Bartlett by 6 lengths. And then in grade 2, the last time out, he kind of was doing all the best work at the end. To me, he looks like he needs a step up in trip. 3 miles, I think we'll see him to the best effect. So yeah, 14-1. I think that's a very fair price.
Hello everyone, and my name is Sean, and I'm from the Finishing Line podcast, as you may know. And my 2023 Cheltenham Festival anti-post selection is going to be the Langer Dan and the Martin Pipe handicap hurdle at a price of 9-1 for Dan Skelton. We're going to get redemption this year. It's going to be third time lucky. First time out, you ran behind none other than Galloping the Champ, and that was no means defeat, let me tell you. Second to him was a very credible race. We've seen what he went on to then do, and I firmly believe he's going to win the Gold Cup this season. Second time around was last season, where he was brought down early at the second hurdle, and I was distraught. I really thought the Langer Dan would have went very, very close in the pipe last year, if not winning. I feel that was proven then at Aintree, where he went on to win the big handicap and done it quite nicely under the hands and heels from Skelton. And that proved to me that he really would have went close in that pipe. I felt like that one got away. But we move on to this season, where he's got 3 little canny rides, I believe, in my opinion. I think it's been the plan from day one to get him back to the Martin Pipe handicap hurdle, and he's been dropped down to a mark of 141. I feel like he's going to be competitive off this. I think the Langer Dan could easily go off favourite in this race, if not up the top of the betting. And I feel like at 9-1 he's a good bet. And hopefully we get redemption this year. As I said, third time lucky.
Hi, it's Declan from the USL podcast, and my next anti-post selection is Chacon Poursoir for the Ryanair at 25-1. We know this race tends to suit the speed horse rather than the stayer, and with stablemate Alho looking like he could be out of the picture, it looks certain that Chacon Poursoir could be stepped up in trip. A lot has been made about his runs in Britain to date, but I think there's genuine excuses for them. In his first Champion Chase run, I think they got the tactics wrong, and then when they went to Sandown for the Tingle Creek, it was his first run of the season, which is always very poor. Last year in the Champion Chase, he was travelling sweetly down the back before unseating Patrick, and I think he could have gone really, really close. If they were to go steady at the beginning of this race like they usually do, and it turns into a bit of a dash, this horse has the speed to put them all to the sword late on. I think he's going to go very, very close.
Hi Joe, apologies, just come out the gym and realised I've forgotten to send this over to you. So my second tip for the Cheltenham Festival comes in the shape of Echoes in Rain in the Mare's Hurdle. She's currently trading around about 10 or 12-1. She'll likely be ridden by Patrick Mullins on the day, with Paul Townend picking one of the favourites for the race, Brandy Love. Now Echoes in Rain come 5th in the race last year, behind none other than Marie's Rock, who will re-oppose again. She ran quite well that day, actually. Considering her finishing position, she pulled really hard and she was impacted by the fall at Indefatigable. Now, she has a bit of class about her. She's run in Morgiana before, and she comes second in the Punchestown Champion Hurdle behind none other than Honeysuckle, and she also finished in front of the likes of Sam Noir that race as well. In terms of this season, she reappeared in the Hatton's Grace Hurdle. She fell at the second last hurdle, and obviously Tihupu went on to win that race. Now, when you look at that race, I think she was still free, but when it come to the second last hurdle, she was travelling just as good as the winner. She probably wouldn't have won because the pulling throughout the race would have impacted her, no doubt. However, it showed she's still in great form. She ran over the summer, she improved her handicap rating, winning a Galway handicap, and also comes second in the Iris Cesarewicz behind none other than the Aidan O'Brien plot job that was Waterville that day. So yeah, my tip for the Cheltenham Festival, my second tip, is Echoes in Rain. I think she can run a very strong race at 10 or 12-1. If she brings her A game, she doesn't pull, I think she's going to be at least in the top 3.
Hi everyone, the Racing Boyo here. I've been asked by Ginger Joe for a second tip for the Cheltenham Festival this year. So again, I've gone for something that I think represents a little bit of value. It's in a race that I wouldn't usually be looking at the market so far away from the festival. Usually something I'd look for a bit closer, but it's in the champion bumper. And the second selection is Facile Mode. I think he is 10-1 at the moment, which I think represents a lot of value. He won for me what was probably the hottest bumper that's been run so far this season. A lot of winners were in, a lot of bumper winners, point-to-point winners. Gordon Elliott had 3 individual bumper winners in the race. Willie Mullins had 2 runners in the race. So I think the form is rock solid. And for Facile Mode to go and win that race, first time out, a very inexperienced horse. And for me, if he was trained by Willie Mullins or Gordon Elliott, he'd be lower than 5-1 for the race. So I think he's got so much more improvement. And he'll probably be seen next at the Dublin Racing Festival, and if he goes and wins the bumper there, for me he'll go favourite for the race. So yeah, my second selection for the Ginger Joe Cheltenham Festival anti-post tipping is Facile Mode for the champion bumper.
Hello everyone, Matt here from the Cheltenham Exchange. Thanks to Joe for inviting us on to put forward a selection towards the Cheltenham Festival. And I've come down on one that I like the look of. Now I know he doesn't suit some of the trends for the race, but I think this one could have a great chance if he turns up here. My selection I'm putting forward is the Dan Scout trained Frere d'Arms for the Grand Annual. I have personally had a go on the 25s available anti-post on Bet365. However, for the purpose of this video, he is available on William Hill at 14-1 non-runner no bet, as we don't have the entries yet, so I can be a bit more cautious with it. Now I'm not telling anyone to rush off and back him, but his 2 starts and wins over fences this season are definitely worth going to take a look at. I rewatched them both this morning. He's a strong traveller, very good jumper and picks up well when asked to do so. On his chase debut on the 7th of November, he beat Hadex de Abo by 4 lengths. On his second start on the 25th of November, he beat a horse I'm a big fan of in Auchenrisk. Frere d'Arms ran off 1-8 that day, and Auchenrisk 1-3-8. He's now been put up to 1-4-5 for a second to Boot Hill, and Frere d'Arms has been given what I think is an exploitable mark of 1-3-5. Good luck with any bets you place for the festival. Thanks again to Joe for having us on.
Hi, the Ginger Joe YouTube channel, back again for part 2. A difficult part compared to the first one. I gave you 3 horses last time, and I've been looking through the racing post, looking through my anti-post slips, and I've been thinking, what horse would I be prepared to put up right now on the spot for the channel here? And I found it really difficult. I haven't delved into the handicaps too much yet. I think Fugitive is my only real one for the plate, but I haven't really got many handicap fancies. So I tried to stick it down the straight and narrow, down the graded route, and I'll give you 2 horses for the same race. Bella Scintilla for the Mares Novice Hurdle. I've been a big fan of this horse from when she was 3rd at Cheltenham in October. I think she'll really step up. She ran again and was runner-up to C'est La Vie. I think she's got a bit more of improvement in her. And I'll give you the same one for the same race, but I'll give you Belle the Lioness for Henry de Bromhead. Was second to Liberty Dance, 18th of December at Turler's. Look at that run again. She gets absolutely no luck. She absolutely belts a couple of hurdles, and she's staying on like a train at the finish. So I think them 2 for the Mares Novice Hurdle, 33-1 about Bella Scintilla and 25-1 Belle the Lioness. Fingers crossed they can go well, and good luck to the rest of you.
Evan here at Cheltenham Time on Twitter, and my anti-post selection for the 2023 Cheltenham Festival is Queen's Gamble at 10-1 for the champion bumper. Now, we've only seen this horse run twice, but she has looked mega impressive on both of those starts. On debut at Cheltenham against 15 rivals, she blew the field away. Johnny Burke pressed a button and she quickened nicely to win the race. Now, what's interesting about the form of that race is the 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th all subsequently came out at the back end of last year over hurdles and won. In her second race, same story. Cheltenham, 15 rivals, with about a furlong and a half to go, Johnny Burke pressed the button, she quickened away to win nicely. Now, this year's champion bumper looks an interesting one because William Mullins and Gordon Elliott certainly don't appear to have the horses they've had in previous years, like Facile Vega, Sir Gerhardt, Fernie Hollow, Envoy Allen, those winners we've seen of this race in previous years. Now, who knows what they will unleash as we approach the festival, but time is ticking and my head and heart tells me Queen's Gamble is the horse to be on. I would love to see her win for Oliver Sherwood. I'd love to see her win for us Brits because we need a few winners. I'd love to see her win because I'm sat on a 50-1 anti-post slip for her. But look, I believe she's got a great shot. I believe 10-1 is great value. She's got the Cheltenham course form, she'll be getting the mare's allowance, and I think she's a serious horse. Thank you, Ginger Joe. Good luck, everyone, and come on, Queen's Gamble.
Hello, this is Alex here from the Cheltenham Exchange, here to give you my selection for the 2023 Cheltenham Festival. Now, the horse I'd like to put up today is Sir Gerhardt, and I'd like to put him up in the Turner's Novices Chase. And the bet in particular I'm looking at is the 5-1 market, non-runner, no bet, with William Hill. Reason why is, he was the best of these hurdlers that have gone chasing whilst they were hurdlers, and I think he probably will be the best of these over fences as well. Reason why I'm specifically looking at that non-runner no bet market is that we've not seen him jump a hurdle in public. We've not seen him jump a fence in public yet. I think if he does end up running in that race, he would be a shorter price than the 5-1, because in order for him to run there, he'd probably have to run really well at the Dublin Racing Festival. And if he doesn't win at the Dublin Racing Festival, I'd imagine they might think about going over hurdles at Cheltenham to preserve his novice status for next season. So, as I said, my selection: Sir Gerhardt, Turner's Novices Chase, William Hill, non-runner no bet, 5-1. Best of luck.
My selection for the Cheltenham Festival is Jazzy Matty on day one in the Boodles, and he's currently available at around 20-1. The Gordon Elliott trained juvenile, I think, ran a superb race on debut, splitting two very good JP horses in Comfort Zone and Tekau back in third. Comfort Zone has since come out and won a grade 2. Tekau's also come back out since and won as well, so that form has definitely been franked. Jazzy Matty then came out and won its second start, and followed that up with a 5th place finish, well beaten by Blood Destiny at the weekend on what was very, very, very testing ground. I haven't lost any faith in its ability. I think One Eye may have been on the handicap mark at the weekend, so I'm going to stick with him, and I'm going to put up Jazzy Matty at 20-1 for the Boodles.